The Neon Garage is hopping right now, and we're getting you set for the Sprint Cup Series race number 3 of the season. NASCAR Live is coming your way next from Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Welcome everyone to NASCAR Live, presented by Geico. Beautiful sunny skies over the Las Vegas Motor Speedway, and a lot of laps being turned, a lot of work being done just outside this Neon Garage area. What a great place to watch the best in the NASCAR business practice their craft here. Welcome everybody, I'm John Roberts, glad you could be with us. Let's take a look at the menu, see what's coming up today. We still got a lot to come your way on speed this afternoon and this evening as well. Remember Dale Earnhardt, the day comes up next at 5 o'clock Eastern time. NASCAR Live at 6 Eastern. Sprint Cup Series qualifying will set the grid for Sunday's race at 6:30 Eastern. Trackside presented by Walmart will feature, other than Jeff Hammond, Harry Gantt, Kurt Busch as well. And then Speed Center wraps everything up from the entire world of motorsports at 9:30 Eastern time. Now, you just don't know who you're going to run into down here. We've run into Elvis so far, Carrie Underwood, and now Jeff Hammond. And despite popular rumor, he is the real Jeff Hammond. It's not a look-alike down here in the Neon Garage, but I guess no imposters in the Roush Fenway Ford camp.
Absolutely not, JR. And the thing right now is so impressive is the fact we've seen a little glimpse of this last weekend at Phoenix when Carl Edwards looked like he had the car to beat before he got messed up. But here so far during this practice session, these guys have really been flexing their muscle, and particularly Matt Kenseth, late in practice, putting that number 17 up on the front and top of the leaderboard. Again, they've been solid all during the practice. And when you look down through here, with the exception of Juan Pablo Montoya being there third, we've got 6 Fords right there, or 5 Fords, I should say, in a row almost as far as the strength is concerned. That FR9, the new nose, everything right now really coming together for these Fords.
Yeah, first and second, fourth and fifth are where the Roush Fenway Fords run on top of the speed chart. But let's check in with a couple of the other drivers that were making waves early in the season. See how they did, Jeff, in this practice session. Your first winner of the year, Daytona 500 champion, Trevor Bayne, all the way back in 27.
I don't worry about that right now. He just needs laps here, get kind of feeling what this car will do around this racetrack. Extremely fast racetrack. And let's face it, JR, he did not have a very good Phoenix. Right now, he just needs to kind of sneak up on it.
Jeff Gordon had a great Phoenix, but there he goes for a little spin. Great car control to keep it off the wall, but Gordon's won at this racetrack before, 19th fastest in practice.
It just goes to show you, just because you won last weekend, there's no guarantees you won't have any problems at the next racetrack, and Jeff Gordon kind of showed that.
Clean slate for everybody, including your 5-time defending champion, Jimmy Johnson, has pretty much owned this place over the past few years, 12th fastest in the practice.
Now, he was up as much as second as far as practice was concerned, and late in the round, I mean, everybody started kind of jumping over, leapfrogging over him, but I think he's got a pretty solid race car, and I look for Jimmy to do well this weekend.
And a guy you can always look to do well no matter where you're racing or what you're racing, Kyle Busch, 17th fastest in practice, and again, he's a hometown boy here, Jeff. He wants to really show what he can do here, and he's won here before.
And he's leading the points, so, you know, he wants to kind of maintain all of that. And I'm a little bit surprised. I thought he'd be a little bit quicker in this practice session, being that he has had some practice on the racetrack as far as in the Nationwide Series early today. I look for him to be a little bit quicker than what he is. Now, a little bit surprised.
Roush Fenway Fords are leading the way, and Matt Kenseth is the driver who is leading the way. He was fastest in practice, Jeff, a little bit better than 186 miles per hour.
And anytime you see Matt Kenseth running this fast, he's got to have a very good race car, because normally he's not the kind of guy that's going to go out there and lay down a fast lap unless the race car is very solid and he's real close to a track record.
And that track record could fall this afternoon as we have Sprint Cup Series qualifying coming your way in just a little while live here on Speed. But right now we're going to have our Geico Garage Report. Got Bob Dillner and Randy Pemberton patrolling the garage area for you. And we're going to start out with Randy.
Well, their time is some engines down here. As you can see, practice is over with as they get ready for qualifying later on here this afternoon. A couple of the elements that these teams have been dealing with. The weather has had a major effect on practice here today. Right now the winds are at about 10 miles an hour consistently, but they've been gusting as high as 32 miles per hour, running off of turn 4 all the way over into turn 2. And when that wind hits them, it pushes them up the racetrack. Now, on their side has been the temperature and track temperature. Ambient temperature has been about 65, 66 degrees. Track temperature has only risen about 4 degrees. That's a good thing, so these guys can go out there and AV a lot of things. But one of the other things that they've been dealing with here in practice, this track is awfully rough. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to get these cars to run as close as they can to the racetrack. You remember when we saw at Daytona, these splitters would be right on top of the racetrack? Well, it's very difficult to do that here at Las Vegas. They're doing about 190 miles going into the turn, and the car compresses. So what they want to do is be able to raise this up enough on the straightaway, not get too much air under it, but have it just meet the bottom of the racetrack when they roll in there, and that keeps it going through the corner as good as they can. But it's been a struggle. The other thing is tires. This track is a little rough. What are they going to do when they go out to qualify? We're hearing some teams will go out on stickers, brand new race tires. Others will roll their tires in, just take the goodie off of them, as Larry Mack likes to say. So a lot of different combinations going on in this final practice session as we get ready to go qualifying here this afternoon. Bob?
Randy, let's talk about a feel-good story in this garage area. 1 week ago, we were out in the Valley of the Sun, Phoenix International Raceway, and guess who wound up back in victory lane? After 66 races, this 24 car for Jeff Gordon, the 4-time champion, back in victory lane. And it was so emotional for him. Talking to him in victory lane, he was near tears, telling me how excited he was not only to be back in victory lane, but also to hear the fans actually cheer for him when he climbed out of that race car. In this first practice session here at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway, you'd think they're not too happy because he had a little spin on the racetrack, some great car control for Jeff Gordon to keep that 24 machine under control. You can see he just breaks loose coming off the corner right there, but he keeps it under control. He wound up 19th quick, and basically what this team with Alan Gustafson, the crew chief, and Jeff were talking about as they debriefed after practice was the fact that they needed to get the car better over the bumps in the corner. So that's what a lot of teams are working on here in this garage area, the wind and the bumps down in 1 and 2, Johnny.
Bob, thanks a lot. That certainly was a great emotional win. Thanks for that Geico pit report as Jeff Gordon returned back to victory lane after a 66 race absence. But Jeff, we've had some pretty smooth racetracks so far this season. Of course, Daytona being the smoothest of all, but here we're bouncing around a little bit. What kind of concern does that give the crew chief?
Well, the thing is, it's like, you know, what Randy was alluding to, along with what Bob was talking about. The problem is you go off in these corners, down in 1 and 2, you're carrying so much speed that when you hit the bumps, they're almost like little choppy whoop-de-doo bumps. And the front end gets down there, it starts hopping and kind of skipping over the racetrack. Well, when it breaks that seal off the racetrack that Randy was talking about, all of a sudden you lose that front downforce, you lose that grip, and the car gets, you know, undrivable. To carry this kind of speed and to maintain that kind of attitude is very important. And a lot of these guys are really fighting what to do as far as the coil binding is concerned, as far as bump stops, I should say, as well as the shock combination, riding those bumps. The key to going around here fast today is getting through 1 and 2, because once you get down in there, if you can get back in that throttle and drive it up with some authority, you can really make good time around here.
Yep, and we potentially could see a record-breaking speed this afternoon when it comes to qualifying. And once again, you can see that live right here on Speed. Got to take a quick break here on NASCAR Live, presented by Geico. But again, beautiful scenery around here at Las Vegas. You should come out and join us if you're not here.
NASCAR Live is presented by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com for a free rate quote. Brought to you in part by Hamburger Helper. 1 pound, 1 pan, 1 tasty meal. And in high definition by Funai. Funai, fun and innovative. Experience more at funaiamerica.com.
Welcome back, everyone, to NASCAR Live, presented by Geico. You know, last year it wasn't really that bad to finish 30th or worse. Denny Hamlin did it 5 times, Jimmy Johnson did it 6 times, and Jeff Hammond, they still made the chase. This year, in 2011, 30th or worse could be a much different story.
It could be, but even for the guys who finished 30th or worse, as far as Denny Hamlin and Jimmy Johnson, they've won more races than anybody else, so they're going to automatically transfer into the chase. So, you know, that's the other part of this thing, is you need to be able to figure out not only how to improve on that, but still be able to win races, JR, and that's what both those teams did last year.
During the offseason, NASCAR wanted to put the emphasis back on winning, and they did exactly that. The last 2 positions in the chase, 11th and 12th, will be decided on the most wins of the guys outside of the top 10 in points. So, Randy Pemberton, if you don't think people are thinking about wins right now, they are already thinking about that, even though we got to get to race number 26.
Well, guys, I think that if we continue to have races like we did at Daytona and then again at Phoenix, where we had 2 big ones, I think, you know, there might be a possibility that wins might be in the back of these guys' mind more than ever. But, David, for your sake, leaving Daytona, you get in a wreck with Michael, and then you get another one, not of your making, at Phoenix. I know that's a real bummer for you, but now really with 2 finishes outside the top 30, how does it, if at all, change your mindset as you continue to approach these races?
You know, it just means you better change things around a little bit and try to, you know, turn the tide. I mean, our season's been horrible. We've been running well, just, you know, getting the bad finishes and it's way back in points. So yeah, it's been a depressing start to the season. I feel like everybody Michael Waltrip Racing's done an awesome job, just an awesome job. We've got great cars, and things are going our way in certain times during the races, and then ends up happening. Bad stuff happens, and we end up getting caught up in the middle of it. But I think we got a pretty good Tums Toyota this weekend. Hopefully we can get things turned around, and you got to start producing, man. I know it's early in the season, but the farther back you get, the harder it is to make it up, and we just got to try and stop the bleeding here a little bit, get back up front.
A place like Las Vegas here, we don't expect to see you guys bumping into each other as much as we would say at Phoenix like we did. Would you expect this thing to be a cleaner race?
Oh, it's hard to say. We're prone to do things that are unexpected on any given race. So, but this place is really, really fast, and generally widens out some, and there's 2 groups of racing. So I think you'll see some really, really good racing. Maybe not as much, hopefully not as much contact as we've had in the first 2 races.
All right, good luck to you, and bring this thing back with the fenders on and get a good finish. That's David Rudiman. When you talk about David Rudiman, you talk about the finishes for some of these guys and where they stack up in points. The interesting thing is, you look at guys that came out of Daytona and then Phoenix, and you have in the point standings a guy like Terry Labonte, who actually is ahead of David Rudiman, he's ahead of Jeff Burton, and he's ahead of Brian Vickers, and he went fishing last week while they all got in a big wreck at Phoenix. This new point system is giving these guys something to think about, as you just heard from David Rudiman.
Randy, thanks a lot. David Rudiman has been so close to making the chase before. He knows what it means to get some wins and get some good points throughout the season. But Jeff Hammond, if you look at Jamie McMurray, he's not used to getting off to a bad start, especially after last year, but now is running 36 in points after 2 of the 36 races.
Yeah, he's not by himself. Because you think about Jeff Burton, he was in the chase last year, and he knows how important it is to be solid as far as finishes are concerned. And Jeff is usually, very methodical. He's able to, put the points on the board. But he's had problems. He's been in the wrong place at the wrong time. Had the engine problem at Daytona. So this is a different feeling for the guys, and I think we're seeing a little bit of panic, at least early on in the season, by some of these veteran drivers, because they don't know how this is going to wind up working out as far as the season goes. But they know that you need to put things back on track. This weekend here at Vegas, you need to have a top 10 finish.
And after the first 5 races of the season, we revert back to this year's points from last year's points. If you're outside of the top 35 right now, you want to get back in a hurry, because you don't want to go to Martinsville and have to qualify on time. Hey, Hammond, coming up tonight on Trackside. It's going to be a good one as usual. We got Harry Gant and Kurt Busch Trackside tonight, 8:30 Eastern time. I'm going to watch for Busch and Gant, but also for Hammond.
That's it, baby. Don't miss it. Las Vegas.
Sunday, the biggest pre-race show in NASCAR fires up in Las Vegas. Jimmy Johnson, Kurt Busch, and Tony Stewart all join us live, where we will relive Jeff Gordon's historic win in Phoenix. Plus, Hermie takes a 9G ride with the United States Air Force Thunderbirds. Don't miss NASCAR Race Day from Vegas Sunday at 12:30 Eastern, live on Speed. Now let's take a look at the top 10 in points. We looked at some of the guys who are at the bottom of the scale. Let's go to the top scale, and you got to go back to Allison's before you find the last time that 2 people who are related are on top of the points. Kyle and Kurt Busch, not only are they on top of the points right now, Hammond, but they are in their hometown, and they want to win here.
Oh, it's going to be a great battle just because of that fact alone. So you can imagine what they're kind of thinking right now. I want to beat my brother, and the other guy's thinking, I want to beat my brother. So it's going to be fun this weekend.
Yeah, tied for 3rd in points, just 11 out right now, is A.J. Allmendinger. And Bob Dillner, a lot of people are talking about this is going to be the next guy that's going to upset the field and get his first win.
That is right. A.J. Allmendinger, one of the most popular guys in the garage area as far as drivers and stuff go, and 16th quick in that practice session. But taking a look at those standings there a minute ago, man, you wish the chase started now, don't you?
I mean, I think the chase probably should be 34 races long. I mean, that's just me. People might have different opinions, but I don't know why not. I mean, NASCAR's changed the point system. I think we should just change the chase to be 34 races. What do you think?
Serious business, though, okay? He's got the smile on his face here. We talked this week, and a great start to the season. But what about this place? Worried?
I mean, yeah, this has definitely been our worst racetrack, but the Best Buy Ford unloaded pretty good. In race trim, I felt it was really good. Qualifying trim, we're just a little bit too tight right now. I mean, this is a fast place. You got to be on the throttle, so if you're just a little tight, it's magnified by how close the lap times are. But I think we'll go out probably 18th or 19th in qualifying with where we were in practice, which isn't terrible. But so far, it's way better than we've unloaded. We got a lot of fast Fords to go off of notes, so so far so good.
I like to see you smiling, so hopefully we continue this through the rest of the year.
Me too. It's way better than I've ever started. So I mean, I know it's only 2 races, but I start usually kind of slow, so maybe it's a good omen.
Looking good so far in the top 5 in points. A.J. Allmendinger, Johnny.
Yeah, you can look for AJ to surprise some people this year and perhaps be the next first-time winner we see in the Cup Series. Well, right now, the NASCAR world is centered at the Neon Garage here in Las Vegas, but the world center of motorsports is Speed Center back in Charlotte, North Carolina. Let's go now to AA, Adam Alexander.
Thank you, John, and pay attention, okay, because we got breaking news. We begin in the IndyCar world. Firestone announced today it will pull out as the sole tire supplier of the series at the end of 2011. Goodyear, Hoosier, Michelin, and Avon are the names being mentioned as possible replacements. Robin Miller joins us tonight on Speed Center at 9:30 for much more on this breaking story. And former Sam Schmidt Motorsports Indy Lights driver Anna Beatriz is moving on up. She will run full-time in the IndyCar Series with Dreyer and Reinbold in 2011. The Brazilian rookie will team with Justin Wilson. Day one of the Rally Mexico still underway. A couple of drivers atop the leaderboard. After stage 6, Citroën teammates Sebastian Loeb and Sebastian Ogier are out front. Ogier is a half a second ahead of Loeb. A big evening on Speed, most of it coming from Las Vegas. Our headliner, 6:30 Eastern Time, Sprint Cup qualifying. We come back your way with Speed Center at 9:30. Back to Vegas after a break.
It's race time at Walmart. From official gear to snacks for race day, you'll find everything you need. Gear up, stock up, save, all at Walmart. Back here in the Neon Garage where things are somewhat quiet on the racetrack, but not in the garage right now, as we are fired up here at Vegas for race number 3 of the Sprint Cup season. It wasn't too long ago when Trevor Bayne shocked the NASCAR world by becoming the youngest Daytona 500 winner ever. For more on Trevor Bayne and the number 21 team, let's go to Randy Pemberton.
Well, he's certainly been well documented after winning the 53rd running of the Daytona 500, then going off to Phoenix and having a difficult weekend, crashing in practice and then again early on in the race. But an update on Trevor Bayne here from practice. They were 27th on the board, which is not exactly where they wanted to be. But I just got done talking with co-owner Led Wood about this Motorcraft Ford here. He said Trevor Bayne is not really comfortable with all the bumps in the racetrack. You see, he has no experience here in one of these race cars. So just about everywhere he goes, it's going to continue to come up, no experience. They think they've got the speed in the car, but what he was going to do is once he left practice, he was going to go over and talk to some guys that had some more experience. How about this? Carl Edwards. How about Greg Biffle? You think those guys can hone him in a little bit? But anyway, they were very confident that Trevor Bayne is going to have a much better race than he had 1 week ago at Phoenix. They're very excited down here, guys.
Randy, thanks a lot, and right they should be. Let's take a look at the top 20 speeds and look at those Fords up there. The Roush Fenway camp, Jeff Hammond, doing very well in terms of practice. We'll see if they can keep it up in qualifying.
Looks like they got a good handling package right there. You also see Marcus Ambrose also in a Ford. So, they're looking really good so far, early on. But look at the kind of surprises to me. Regan Smith continues to keep putting up impressive numbers along with Brad Keselowski. So, these two youngsters and Joey Logano also in the top 10.
Paul Menard and his somewhat new ride still, the number 27, and Jimmy Johnson, the guy who's won a lot of races here. Ryan Newman, AJ Allmendinger, we just talked to him moments ago, and he's had a very good start to the season so far. He's in 16th.
Yeah, that's the thing right now. AJ, like I said, he was a little bit concerned about coming in here, but right now being in the top 10 in points, I think is very important for him. A good solid qualifying effort will go a long ways for kind of setting the tempo for Sunday.
And I think, Jeff, over the years, people have agreed that we got a little bit more sense of urgency because really when we put the chase in, what we basically did was we shortened this year by 1/3, by 10 races.
Yeah, it is. And the thing is, a lot of things that are going on right now with this new point system have got a lot of people scratching their head because, we pointed it out. There's Terry Labonte, has a good run, and then turns around, takes the weekend off, and yet he's still ahead of guys who've run 2 races. So you can see how sometimes it doesn't add up if you don't perform well. So I think a lot of pressure on these guys this weekend to dig themselves out of a hole, guys that are having good years to continue doing that. So it's going to mean we're going to have a great race.
Yep, and it's also going to be a lot of fun to watch throughout this season and a lot of fun to be had out here in Las Vegas. Got to take a quick break on NASCAR Live, presented by Geico from the Neon Garage here at Vegas. We'll be back with more in a moment.
NASCAR Live is presented by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com for a free rate quote. Brought to you in part by Little Debbie Snacks. When you share the fresh taste and goodness of a Little Debbie snack, you share a smile. And brought to you in high definition by Funai. Funai, fun and innovative. Experience more at funaiamerica.com.
Wednesday, don't miss the most talked about new car show on TV. Car Warriors, sparks fly and tempers boil over when a team of hotshot challengers race the All-Stars to build a tricked-out El Camino. Not just an El Camino, but a tricked-out El Camino. From scratch in only 72 hours, Car Wars is new, and it is only on Speed. Let's go to Randy Pemberton, who is going to talk to us about a tribute to a true pioneer.
No question about that. It will be a tribute to Wendell Scott. If you remember back in the 1960s, Wendell Scott drove the number 34. He's the first African-American to ever start a NASCAR Sprint Cup Series race and the first African-American to ever win one as well. Coming here in the race on Sunday, there will be a sticker on the B-pillar of each and every race car in the field commemorating his great accomplishments as being the only African-American that has ever really participated to the degree that he has in this sport. We certainly celebrate him. Johnny?
Randy, thanks a lot. And that's a very fitting tribute for Jeff Hammond and Bob Dillner and Randy Pemberton. I'm John Roberts saying thanks for coming along for the ride and joining us here on NASCAR Live presented by Geico. We're going to step away from the racetrack here for a little bit and show you an encore performance of the day. It is up next, but we're back live with a NASCAR Live at 6 o'clock Eastern Time. So long, everybody, from the Neon Garage.